Hey guys, Cyndi Williams here, the Wanderlust CEO. Today we are talking about that big elephant in the room, the potential recession. Oh my gosh, what do you need to know? How do you need to prepare for it? Things you should absolutely be doing right now, things you should be avoiding at all costs, and my personal map for navigating a recession with ease when and if it happens. All that on the live stream today, so keep on watching.
Come take my hand, I will walk with you. I won't let go till you say so. There isn't anything I wouldn't do. Wanna make sure that you understand.
All right, guys, don't forget to take a moment, like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell over on YouTube. We bring you amazing content every single week to help you grow your travel businesses, and I don't want you to miss a thing. If you are new here, please type a little "I'm new" so I can welcome you to our community. We're so glad that you found us. And if you don't know who I am, my name is Cyndi Williams. I have been in the travel industry for nearly 30 years. I am best known for being an educator, coach, and the CEO and founder of Careers on Vacation, which certifies new travel agents all the way up to agency owners and helps the travel industry grow in every way possible and helps people just like you grow to whatever level that you want to grow. So I'm so glad that you found our free sessions here on YouTube and that you're plugging into our community. So guys, today we are talking about something no one ever wants to go la 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 la. Like we just got through COVID. We don't want to talk about any more potential trauma or fear, any of that, right? So here's the thing, right? I have been through my share of craziness in almost 30 years in the industry, right? Everything that you can imagine. My husband and I have owned several other businesses. In fact, when the last huge recession hit, we had just opened a business. I'm going to share that story with you here in just a second. But I want you to just take a deep breath, okay? As long as you're going into things prepared, I'm so glad that you're watching this video. That just shows that you are a very thoughtful business owner and you're thinking about what do I need to prepare when, if I do this, and what should I be thinking about, right? So let me take you back to a time that was super scary, and I had never been through a recession. I mean, I know there was one like in the 80s, but I was like a kid, right? So I didn't know what was going on in the world. And that's the thing too, right? Like kids don't know. It's just as long as you're there and you're loved, it's all good. So take a deep breath. Whatever happens, we're going to get through it. It's going to be fine. But are there some things that you can do? Absolutely, for sure. We're gonna map those out for you today. But I want to start with a story. You know, back in 2006, 2007, my husband and I left our corporate jobs because we really wanted to become entrepreneurs. We wanted to, in addition to the travel agency, we wanted to have another business. And we were kind of balancing a lot of things, but we decided we're both going to leave our corporate jobs. We're not depending on corporate anymore. There's been too many layoffs, too much craziness, outsourcing to all these places. And it just felt like a never-ending cycle of stuff we didn't want to participate in. So we decided to make that journey into entrepreneurialism. So we decided we were going to buy the second business of a cleaning service, right? And we thought, great business model, like you don't have to work nights and weekends. It's not going to be it's not going to be replaced by technology of any kind because Roomba can't dust, all of those things. So we thought this is going to be great. So literally we did our research, we did our due diligence, and then we decided to go all in. I mean, I'm talking cashing out our savings plans, cashing out our savings account, our 401ks, all of those different things, because we were just like, this is going to be fantastic. So we went all in, and 2 months after we opened the doors on that brand new business, and I'm talking like we had a brick and mortar, we had inventory, we had staff, like it was a big business. We wrote a $30,000 check just to use the franchise's names. Like it was a big investment to get started in that business. And then so for 2 months in, a recession to hit, we're like, oh my gosh, what do we do? Now, we had some great mentors at the time, some great business mentors, and thank goodness that we did, because they gave us such great, smart advice. And I'm going to share a lot of that with you today, because it can be so scary, especially if you put all of your investment of time and energy. But I want to start by saying, like, the biggest risk in a recession is that you're going to lose your job, like your corporate job, right? So the fact there was a little bit of like, we own our own thing. No one can replace us. As long as we make this work, then we can make it work. And to not let me tell you one more thing about the story before I fast forward and tell you how that story ended. I want to take you to the hardest week in that business. Like it was a year and a half of really, like, we didn't break even on that business until about 18 months in, a little past 18 months, which was actually really good. That was like breaking a record in that type of business because it was a different model than your typical travel agency. But I will share, I was pregnant with our second son, and then recession hit. I mean, just crazy. And I remember my son came a couple weeks early, so I went into labor, and 3-4 days after he was born, our office manager decided she wanted to relocate. So she just no 2 weeks notice, nothing. She's like, I'm gone, I'm leaving, wish you guys the best of luck. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, and my husband, like, the business was big enough at that point, like it needed more than just one person. We couldn't afford to hire anyone else. So we bought a rolling bassinet to put in my office. And I remember the hardest day, weeks I did this. Nursing my son, right? Ladies, you know what I'm talking about. Guys, it might be TMI, but look, this is a reality of, like, you do what you're going to do to make stuff work. Nursing my son, headset, taking calls all day, making sales, typing with one hand, feeding the baby on one side, running the business. Didn't get a maternity leave. It was hard. It was stressful. But you know what? I did it. We did it. We pulled together and we got it done. That business became the fastest growing franchise in the entire United States the next 2 years. And we became the biggest one of its kind in Texas and the 7th or 8th biggest in the entire country. So and I credit that to the things that you do when the stuff is the hardest determines your success all the time. Let me put that into a nice little Cyndi Williams quote for you. The things that you do in the hard times dictate your success in all times. This is why I don't freak out when people are like, there's going to be a recession or this, or I didn't even really freak out that much with COVID. Now, the whole industry shut down, but we still were very productive during that time. There were still things that we could do, focusing on what we can do versus what we can't. But the point is, how you choose to approach the situation, how you decide you're going to, like, absorb the information and then take action is what is so important. You can't be in a state of fear is what I'm getting at. It's better to think about, and that's why I'm glad you're watching this video. We're filming it in the fall of 2022, right? And they're saying a possible recession in 2023, right? Whether there is or isn't, at least you're preparing. So I'm going to give you a formula today. I call it my MAP formula. And the MAP is going to walk you through 4 different categories. MAPP is the analogy. But the first one is mindset. You can't let yourself get into a state of fear. If you're in a state of fear, that's when you make bad decisions, you tighten up on things, and I'm not saying you should go spending. In fact, the opposite. I'm going to go through some actionables here in a second. But what I'm saying is, you have to make decisions from a centered place, from a practical place, from what is the best thing for my business and my life and my family in this situation. So first thing, before you make any major decisions, before you decide you're going to quit your whatever, the 8 things you have rolling on your agenda right now, you have to get into a place where it's just ease and flow. And what I mean by that is the number one of the analogy, M of the MAP analogy, is mindset. So deciding, I remember my husband looking at me and he's like, we don't have any savings. We don't have any 401k. He goes, we got to make sure this bleep works, right? And I was like, yeah. I said, we can't participate in the recession. I just said it like off the cuff, but we kept saying that to each other. We're not participating in the recession. We're not going to participate. And we went out and we found the customers that were willing to pay for our service. We worked double time. We outworked other services of our kind. Other services went out of business when we were like the ones that were rising to the top. We made sure our service was A+, right? So it's how you go, decisions that you make are going to be based on what is that core belief that you're operating from. You're not going to participate in it, right? Or you're going to work harder. You're going to make it work. I'm going to give you a perfect example in our industry. During COVID, I had so many people Right, like, oh, travel industry is dead for 10 years. It's not going to come back for 10 years. Like, I had stuff on YouTube, on Instagram, blah, 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 all the places, right? And a lot of people really loved being a travel agent, but they were like, I'm just going to close the doors until all this is over. I'm just going to shut down. I'm going to wait till it comes all the way back and then I'll get back in. That was the biggest mistake, and no judgment if that was you, but was the biggest mistake because travel came back so much faster than everyone anticipated, except for me, because if you go back to my videos in 2020 and 2021, I told you guys this was going to happen. I said it's going to come back domestic, then it's going to come back Mexico, Caribbean, then it's going to come back international, and then cruises, which is exactly how it unfolded, right? But the point being is it came back so fast. The agents and the agencies that stood the test of time, that did the extra work, that made it work through the recession, came up with other revenue streams, right? They were the ones that were ready and prepared to then serve people as everything came flooding back. And it didn't just come flooding back like it was before. It came flooding back double time because nobody wants to book without a travel agent anymore because of all the rules, restrictions, changing guidelines. Travel agents became more in demand, right? The hundreds of students that took our program, Careers on Vacation, during the recession, they were ready when all of the resurgence happened. You guys, we're doing Gold Digger in like 3 weeks in Disney. we have this thing called the $1 Million Club, where if you sell at least $1 million in travel, you can be eligible to win an award. I have never had so many people in our $1 Million Club. I was so tears when I got the list, because we send out a survey and we're like, tell us if your numbers are above this, blah, blah, blah. Tears, because I was like, and I looked at the names and I was like, these are the people that, like, when it was the hardest and it was the biggest risk, or they thought it was the biggest risk, or they were like, I'm just, you know what, there's nothing else going on in the world. I'm gonna learn this thing and I'm gonna do my best. I'm gonna do what I can. And it's just all paid off for them. It's like the most last weekend was like the most rewarding weekend of my career, because I saw agents getting to that $1 Million Club. I saw agencies in my multi-million-dollar, and I even have a Pinnacle winner, which I can't even right now. Like, in that room in a few weeks is over $50 million worth of travel that's been booked in the industry in just the past year. Fantastic, right? But who are those people? What did they do in the hardest time? They doubled down. They said, I'm going to work harder. I'm going to make sure I'm the best. I'm going to make sure I'm certified. I'm going to make sure I'm monetizing my business like we train in our program, like all of those things, right? So that is a beautiful thing. So let some of the stress ease away. As long as you get that mindset in the right place, that's the first place to be. And the second one is exactly what we're talking about. Take actionable steps. Okay, I want to go through a couple of those. Take decisive actions to prepare. So a couple of things that I want you to do as you prepare, right, for 2023. Let's just make sure we're prepared. Even if it doesn't come great, we'll just be more prepared. It is always a good idea to have 3 months of expenses saved up. If you are in a corporate job right now, you need to be saving on double time. If you are an agency owner or a travel agent, whatever that money is that costs to run your business, if you have marketing, if you have staff, make sure you have 3 months saved up. This is why our agency and our travel school had no problem navigating COVID, because we had at least that saved up. And when everything got shut down in March of 2020, I went to my staff and I had to have a very difficult meeting. But that's your job. Guess what? As a leader, if you're an agency owner, this is a note for you. Your job as a leader is to make sure you're steering the ship and make sure you have a detailed plan if something happens, a redundancy plan, a contingency plan. So I went to my staff and I said, look, we're in uncharted territory. We've never had the entire industry shut down. This is crazy. I said, we have enough payroll that all of you are going to not have to worry about your jobs for at least 90 days, and we will come back and reassess. Here's some things that we're going to cut. We're going to cut anything that is a project that is doesn't need to happen right now or is non-revenue generating. We're going to table it. We're going to focus on doing what we can and things that are going to drive the business forward. And we're going to focus on our clients and Careers on Vacation. And we're going to focus on canceling all the people that need to get canceled at the travel agency. And we're going to show up in love every day. We're going to show up and we're going to give the best service ever. We're going to show up and we're going to do all these things. And we put together a plan, right? So we gave them a plan. We said, look, 90 days we'll reassess. When we reassessed in 90 days, business was coming in from the other ways that we monetize our business fast and furious. And we were doing so much free stuff in terms of like free like travel nights for our Tripsy staff, or we were doing things for the travel school to help people get success and help them get their travel businesses, that word spread on that. So we really had all these different things moving, but because we had a plan, because we didn't freak out, because we didn't let fear sneak in, and because we had 3 months of expenses saved up, we had that time that we could be calm about the decisions that we were making. So have 3 months of expenses saved up, you will make better decisions, and it will just take a little bit of the stress off. The other thing is, if you are working in this corporate environment, right? That, like I said earlier, the number one risk is losing your corporate job. Maybe it's time to double down on your hobby. If you've been treating your travel business like a hobby, bringing in a little extra income, it's your fun money, or you use it for travel benefits, you might need to put a little more time and energy investment in making your travel business bigger, because there are still going to be people that have jobs that want to travel. So if you can earn a full-time income at your travel business, then you really aren't going to freak out if you lose your job. You're going to be like, well, maybe it's a blessing in disguise. I get to do what I love every day now, and I can travel and I can do all that stuff that's been on my to-do list. So think about that. If you're an agency owner, encourage all of your independent contractors to make sure that they're doing the things they need to do to market in fourth quarter going into wave season. That's important too. So invest now in getting those things growing. If you're not familiar with travel industry cycles, if you have good marketing, you should be busy all year long, but no matter what, even whether your marketing's fantastic or your marketing stinks, first quarter is a pretty easy time to sell travel because there's deals. It's the normal cadence. People go right after Christmas, they book all their trips for the year. That's our normal busy season. So be ready for busy season. You want to go into if you have a solid first quarter in 2023, it will set you up to have a fantastic year. You don't have a phenomenal first quarter unless you do the work in fourth quarter or third quarter the year before. That's right now. You should be doing that work right now. We already have our marketing plans done all the way through March of next year. That's how far ahead that we do, and that we're ready, because we are serious marketers. That's what we train in our programs. Agency owners, if you have any debt, like if you have a small business loan or something like that, just go back and revisit those and make sure they're at the lowest possible interest rates. See if it makes sense to renegotiate those, or that would be another way you could bring your operational expenses down a little bit. And make sure if you're an agency owner, you are using an IC team structure. What do I mean by that? I've had friends in the travel industry that have said, Cyndi, I just want to have employees versus independent contractors. I want to have an office, or I want to make them work a certain schedule. Great. I'm not a big advocate of that model because we are a commission-based industry. So I would always ask them, what happens if something happens that the commission all of a sudden isn't coming in on schedule? How are you going to make payroll? And they would say, well, that's not going to happen. We've had, track record of years of getting our commissions regular. Our relationships are established. And then what happens? COVID, boom, commissions like literally tomorrow. All the trips are canceled, so commission isn't coming. Everyone that had a model like that went out of business in that time frame because they couldn't make payroll. Right? So they either had to reassess, they had to restructure their businesses, or they just went out of business. So having an IC model where, you are paying your staff based on the commission that they earn or a percentage of that, it really protects you. It protects your agency. And it also doesn't make your people feel horrible because you hire them under the agreement that it's based on commission. So make sure that model is in place. That's important if it's not already. All right, so we've gone through M, mindset, A, action. P is for persistence. I want to talk about staying the course. I said earlier, the travel agents and travel agencies that put their businesses on hold or decided to fold up the doors during COVID, and now they're just now trying to get back in the game because they're seeing how much, business is out there, travel's back again, everyone's looking for an amazing travel agent. But they missed the boat on, right? Like we have all these $1 million agents and multi-million-dollar agents. Like there's been so much business that has transpired in the last year and a half, 21, year and a half. I tried to backwards math that. But you guys get what I'm saying. Like, whenever you go through a period that is uncomfortable for most of the world, if you can see the opportunity in the situation, if you can stay calm and you can stay the course and be persistent, right, then you're going to have these huge payoffs. So I want to make sure that you don't miss out. If it's always been your passion to be a travel agent, or to have a side business, or to grow your business from hobby to full time, this is actually a good time to be leaning into that and getting away from corporate structures and making you, right, responsible. Like, in a corporation, I couldn't be feeding my son on the phone necessarily, but in my own world, in my own business, I was going to cause the failure of that business or the success of that business, what me and my husband did. And we doubled down, right? So if giving yourself control over your future and not letting someone else have power over that, whether you realize it or not, that's a big mental game, right? So you are going to work harder for yourself is what I'm getting at, because at the end of the day, it's you eat what you kill, right? The old hunter's analogy. It's like you go out, you do what you do, and the success, and you have all the success. You're not building someone else's company for them. All right. The other thing in the persistence category is make sure your service is exceptional. If you've been dialing it in because it's been easy and sales have been coming in, and maybe you have a database of a bunch of clients, during a recession, your service better be fantastic, right? So we teach best practices in our program for service on how to, navigating the trip, and how to manage the trip leading up to the vacation, what you should do afterwards, and how you should build a recurring business model, and all the touch points that should be in a best practice process. Make sure you're reviewing that. Make sure that it is solid, and make sure that you have great relationships with your clients. Relationships are the things that will pull you through and set you apart when things are harder. Okay. The last one, yes, the map has 2 P's, is patient. Okay. Give yourself some grace. Maybe this is going to be the first thing. Hopefully this thing never happens and this video is just trash, right? Like hopefully we don't have to watch this in 2023. But if it does, I want to remind you that you're going to get through this. We've done hard stuff. We got through COVID, right? We got through all the things. We've done recessions before. This is not the first time. This is a financial cycle that happens in our economy. So give yourself some grace. Be patient through this process. Remember to take care of you. Like, one of the most important things you can do is protect your energy, keep your vibration in a good place. During COVID, I walked every day. Usually I'm straight to work in the morning kind of gal, but I just had to walk off that anxiety in the morning so I could okay, I feel better. Let me start in a better place. So, get yourself in a better, whether it's like a playlist, whether it's exercise, just remember what you think about, you bring about. So when you're watching the news all day, I want you to turn that news off. I want you to, of course, be informed, but just that. You don't need to go into the Russian roulette that the news is, right? Focus on what you're doing today, how you're moving forward, how you're showing up in the world to serve, and that will serve you well. Surround yourself with the best people. This is another one. Go through your social feeds, take anyone off, either on Facebook, mark them as an acquaintance if they're a relative so you don't see their stuff, or just take them off your feed, or you can snooze people, right? That's a thing that you can do to just get anyone that's negative or anything that's in your sphere of influence that doesn't serve your highest good. You need to kind of go through the social and weed those people out, but also think about who are the 5 closest people that are surrounding you during this time. Make sure they're positive. Make sure they're people that are feeding your flames, not extinguishing them. Make sure that that you're in an environment that makes you feel inspired. This is why during the middle of the worst part of COVID, people that were in my mastermind, we had tears. We had people that were just angry because they lost their businesses, and overnight, they had built up millions of dollars of sales and it just went, right? So a lot of feelings were processed, but because they had people sitting next to them that had been through it before, they had me and our entire team going, guess what? It sucks, but here's what we're going to do. Plan of action. Let's get to work, right? Like if you surround yourself with those people that are about, yep, it happened, but what are we going to do about it? That's the difference between that and the sitting on the couch watching Netflix for 3 months crying and eating ice cream. I did a little bit of that too. We all did. But the point is, you got to get off the couch and get in that environment where people are like-minded. People are focused on forward. People are focused on the positive. So have a zero tolerance for negativity. All right, so that is our analogy: mindset, action, persistence, and patience. So remember, that is your map for navigating whatever comes our way in 2023. And I want to again say my quote: the things that you do in the hard times are going to dictate your success in all times. If you have been waiting to get that travel business where it needs to be, if you are worried about your corporate job, make sure you are behind the scenes building up your travel business so you have that little nest egg. If you are, if you haven't already, go over and do our masterclass. I just updated this about a month ago, guys. Has all brand new stuff in it, and there's a whole section on how to create multiple income streams in your travel business so you can make your travel business more robust and not depend on so many niche things, and you can have income coming in multiple different ways. So go check that out. That's a totally free class as well. And if you guys are thinking about really taking your travel business to the next level in 2023, you want to make sure you have best practices, you have exceptional service, you're going to be closing the sales, you're going to be positioning yourself above other agents that are out there by way of having an actual certification, then think about Careers on Vacation. We are here for you every step of the way. This is my 12-week mastermind program where you earn a certification. We have a new agent track for all of you that are brand new to the industry, where we will show you how to set up your travel business and run it successfully. If you're experienced, you'll go on our experience track. We will meet you where you're at, understand your goals, and help you grow from there. And if you're an agency owner, we have some options as well. Check out the website for that. You get to work with me and my entire team, and we're so proud to be the most reviewed program out there, you guys. We are AST affiliated travel school, which is fantastic. And it's not just me, it's my entire team that you get to work with, my experts, my trainers, all that good stuff. So check out our other reviews here on YouTube if you want to find some more stories on how we help people get results in the travel industry. But you can visit us at careersonvacation.com/ready now if you do want to apply for the program. And we are busy. We have been busier than ever this year, and fourth quarter is normally a very busy time. People want to get set up before we go into busy season, so I encourage you to do that sooner rather than later. But guys, thank you so much for watching the show today. I'm going to have more content for you next week, so don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.
It's calling me, like the rainbow, It's calling me, like the rainbow.
Hey guys, Cyndi Williams here. If you like that last video, make sure you check out all of the other content on our channel. And if you want to follow along and travel with me around the world and see how I run my amazing travel brands and get some great tips on how to grow your own, make sure you check out that other content. I'm going to drop a couple videos here. Click those links. I'll see you next time. Bye guys.
It's calling me.